Welcome to the Truly Expat Travel Podcast, where I chat with expats about their favourite holiday destinations. Let's be honest, expats are some of the best travellers around, always planning the next adventure, exploring hidden gems, and finding the best spots wherever they go. So who better to ask for travel inspiration? Welcome to the Truly Expat Travel Podcast, where I chat with expats about their favourite holiday destinations. Let's be honest, expats are some of the best travellers around, always planning the next adventure, exploring hidden gems, and finding the best spots wherever they go. So who better to ask for travel inspiration? In this episode, I'm joined by Joe Hunter, a long-term expat currently living in Singapore. Joe and I actually met years ago when we were both living in Kuala Lumpur, so it feels a bit more like a catch-up than anything else. Joe takes us on a journey to one of her all-time favourite destinations, Morocco. From bustling souks to serene desert landscapes, she shares her insider tips, what not to miss, and of course, why Morocco continues to capture her heart. So pop the kettle on, get comfy, and come along for the ride. Hey, Joe.
Hi, Paula. How are you?
Good. So, Joe, if anyone knows or listened to Truly Expat podcast, Joe's been one of our favourites on there. So she's come on quite a bit. But today's a bit different, right? So we're just going to talk about travel.
We are. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. So tell us firstly, a little bit about your expat journey.
Okay. Well, we have been on and off the expat journey for basically my whole adult life. In my early 20s, went over to Scotland and did my midwifery there as a single girl, and then came home and then decided I wanted to go and work overseas. So I found myself in Abu Dhabi back in the very early 90s with a girlfriend. We just went together and had an experience. And then I met my husband there, who was also on his own expat journey. And so then we've basically been on an expat journey on and off since. Spent some time in Melbourne, probably about 10, 12 years in Melbourne. But other than that, we've been around. We've lived in KL, we've lived in Singapore, we live back in KL again. Yeah, we're just sort of waiting to see what our next adventure will be. But at the moment, we're very happy in Singapore.
And I'm very happy to have you here, to be honest. So what kind of traveller are you? Talk to me.
Well, I think as you get older, it changes. Give people a perspective. I'm in my late 50s now and empty nester. So I feel like it depends on who I travel with and it depends on where I'm going. But historically, I was very much up for anything, go anywhere, stay anywhere, do anything as long as I was with a group of friends or my husband. But then obviously as you get older, you then have children. I think your traveling experiences change. You like everything to be a lot more organized when you've got children. You don't really want to be left at an airport stranded or, whereas the days of just rocking up somewhere and just finding somewhere to stay are kind of gone. So I became quite organized in that period of time, I would say, with traveling. And now I think we're entering back into let's see what the world brings. We're back into our, winding down, like not quite retired, but kind of getting there. And so we're looking to see what we'd like to do next. But in general, I do like to know kind of what I'm doing. In general, I do like to know where I'm going, where I'm going to stay, at least have a minimum of getting to a hotel before I can find out where I'm going. And I do like to do a lot of research because I kind of feel what's the point in going to New York, for example, getting all the way there and then not having done your research and miss out on, the High Line Walk or something that's like, the Brooklyn Bridge or something like that. So why would you go all that way and not be organized? So that's kind of probably where I'm at. Yeah.
I'm with you on that. I'm not a spontaneous person. I might leave a couple of days to free, but generally speaking, I'm like a schedule. I want to hit all the spots I want to hit. And I do heaps of research as well. So, okay, let's talk about what captured your heart. So let's now dive into your destination.
Morocco. Yeah. So basically, I've got my daughter to blame for my love of Morocco because we did, for some of you that will be listening from Australia, you'll know about this thing that we have called long service leave, that when you work for a company for 10 years, you get 3 months off at the end of that if you choose to take it, which my husband and I did. And we took our children around the world for 3 months years ago. And at the time, my daughter was 18, just finished school. My son was about 11 or 12. and we gave them a destination each. So like they could choose one destination each, and then the rest of it was picked by my husband and myself. And so George's was Morocco. And so we're like, oh, how are we going to fit this into it? But we did. We went for 4 days. We just went to Marrakech. So it was a little taster. And that's what I would say for anyone going to Morocco who's not sure about Morocco, because obviously it can get a bad rap from the danger perspective. I would say do something like that first. Just do like a 4-day Marrakech experience, because there's plenty to do in Marrakech for 4 days, or to do just one tour up to the Atlas Mountains or something. And that would be a good taster. And then from that, I was then talking to my friends about it, and we decided to go as a group of 6. So in the beginning of 2020, just before COVID hit, we were extremely lucky to be able to squeeze in a 2-week trip, 14 days. And it was, I hate to say it in front of my husband, because of course it's not very fair because he wasn't there, but it probably is up there with my top 3 holidays of all time. Yeah, it just was an incredible experience, and for lots of different reasons, but just absolutely loved it. Yeah.
So how easy was it to get to Morocco?
It's reasonably easy. We went via Spain, actually, the first time we went. And we were doing a bit of a Europe thing. So we'd done Italy and Spain, and then we took a plane from Spain just into Marrakech and then back again. So that was actually very easy. And then from here, from Singapore, I believe we flew directly into Casablanca. So I'm just trying to remember, because it was 5 years ago, but I'm pretty sure we just flew directly in and then directly out again. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that you could do that. So what was your itinerary look like, especially with the girls?
Yeah, I think I'll concentrate on the girls, because actually with the girls trip, I did spend 4 days in Marrakech at the end. So it was sort of like cover that. So I'll concentrate the girls trip. So basically what we decided was that we would just do a loop. So we flew into Casablanca, and basically Casablanca is just a big city. It's sort of like, I wouldn't rush to go there, except for you've got to go to Rick's Cafe, of course, from the movie.
Of course.
Yeah, from the movie. And it's everything it lives up to. It's really special restaurant, beautiful cocktails, lovely food, have photos in all the areas, and there is a really beautiful mosque there as well. So but really, to be honest, it was just a starting point for us, and we only stayed there, I think it was 2 nights, only because we were waiting for all the girls to come in. And then what really made our trip, and what I would highly recommend if you go, is we had the one driver the entire time. We had the gorgeous Youssef, who was organised through a tour company, and he literally stayed with us the entire time. He picked us up at the airport, dropped us at the hotel, picked us up, took us. So he was sort of like driver, tour guide. Mainly driver though, and on our tour they actually organised tour guides in various cities. So so he was basically our driver, but if we didn't have a tour guide, we could ask him questions. So we basically went up to a place called Rabat, and that had a beautiful old UNESCO heritage site, and we just sort of saw that. But then we drove on to the Blue City, which which is really stunning, like absolutely stunning. It's a must see. If you go there, you won't see anything like it anywhere else. They still to this day don't really know why the whole city is painted blue, but they think it could be something to do with religious reasons, is what I've read. And it dates back to a long, 11th, 12th, 13th century type stuff. And it's just a really beautiful place to see. And then just to give you a little rough guide, then we went basically up into the desert. And I went to Fez from there, which is like an internal sort of inland northern kind of city. Fez is also, I feel, like a must-see for all of you that like shopping. I think for me, Fez was more authentic shopping than Marrakech. Marrakech, you had to be really careful that the beautiful Moroccan pot you were buying wasn't made in China. Yeah, so basically Fez was more authentic. They took us to the actual leather tannery, so we could see all the leather actually being coloured and worked, and then they had a shop afterwards. So I did buy my beautiful leather stool from Fez, from that shop, not cheap, like you're not going to get it cheap because it's authentic, it's real, it's not going to be leather that cracks, like, so that's what I would say with the shopping. It was also huge for copper, of all things. So
Copper. Wow.
yeah, so I've actually got, can you see your photo? Can you see or no? Are we just on?
We will, like, for those who are listening, if they do come onto our social media, yes, you'll be able to see these beautiful copper. Is it copper that you're
It's
showing us?
actually just, a photo frame that I've just got sitting up here. And that's me. I don't know if you can see it, with all the beautiful copper vases and pots and trays. And that was something quite unexpected. And the only other thing with Fez is I would say, like, in all of this, like, Yusuf stayed with us the entire time. So he would drop us at the riad, because a lot of the riads in these towns, you're staying in the old quarter, which is where you want to stay because it's the very atmospheric, it's where all the beautiful, like, riads are. But, sometimes they can be a little bit dangerous, like if you're out after dark. So he would take us to the hotel. Once we're in the hotel, 100% safe, Yeah. But like he was saying to us, if you're going to be out after dark, just call me and I will walk you back from the restaurant. Or he didn't like us.
Nice.
Yeah, he didn't really like us being alone, like in the evening. And maybe from 6 women, maybe just because he's got such a good relationship with his tour guide who organised the tour, he felt responsible. But and we felt safer actually with that as well. So then we went up into the Atlas Mountains, the Sahara Desert and all of that. Had a stay in the Sahara Desert, which is like obviously a must if you go to Morocco. Camel ride into I just got a little photo up here actually. Camel ride into there's me on a camel.
Oh, so it's exactly like they
it's
like all the pictures.
What you say. Yeah. What you say. And then we stayed in, like, this sort of thing. Like you say.
Turn over a bit. Oh my God, yes. So for those who can't see, it's like a tent.
Like a tent.
A beautiful
tent. Like tent with like a beautiful bed and like, it's all just done beautifully, and you're well looked after, and you have like food out by the campfire, and it's really exactly what you imagine. Obviously,
cold?
That particular night was a bit chilly, but it was fine. We all had jackets and things. It wasn't sort of so cold but it was definitely chilly. And up in also the Atlas Mountains where they do a lot of handicrafts as well. So that's where they'll take you to rug, where you buy your Moroccan rugs and things like that. Again, my experience is I would rather buy it up there because you can really see like where all the ladies and the guys are making them. Like they'll have them out the back, actually weaving and so it's kind of we were taken to lots of different like little antique shops and stuff like that. So we did save a little bit of shopping for Marrakech because I knew Marrakech was good shopping as well, but I wish now that I'd really bought more in those smaller places. I did buy some stuff there, but my tip would be to not save all your shopping to Marrakech. And also, how you sort of save all your shopping to the end?
Yeah.
You don't have to carry it all with you. So,
But if you've got a guide and stuff, you can carry it with you, right? Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. And you've got the van, so you can just put it in there. And so, and then we came through the Atlas Mountains, which is all, if anyone's interested, it's where they have a lot of movie cinemas, movie like the Atlas, not cinemas, the Atlas
theatre
places. Well, where they're making.
Oh, okay, like movie sets.
Yes, like movie sets. So you can go into the Atlas one, which is what made, I'm pretty sure, like don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure it was like, I've got to try and remember, Gladiator and a few of those other like really big movies, and they've still got the sets. With the big sphinxes and that one that Mel Gibbs did, like the religious one, the Passion of Christ.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's quite a few that have been filmed there, and so basically it's kind of just really interesting. You're in the middle of nowhere and there's these movie sets, and just the Atlas Mountains in general is amazing for its color, its views. You're just not going to see anything like it anywhere else. Just absolutely stunning with the clay. So you'll go in. There's a place called Eight Bin Hadu, I believe. And that's like an 11th century kind of village. And you can actually walk all up in amongst the village. People still live there. Yeah, but, the difference between the clay with the blue sky, with the palm trees, like it's just classic Middle Eastern-y sort of Moroccan kind of colours, which is beautiful. And then we ended in Marrakech for 4 days. So, which was 4 days of rooftop bars, drinking cocktails, shopping, girly stuff lying by the pool. And it was beautiful. Yeah.
So out of all of that, what made it the standout experience or the moment that you went, wow, this is cool?
Well, I think the Sahara Desert, I think staying
Yeah.
in the desert for me was just, like incredible. Like that for
Mm.
me. I think being with a group of girls, like wherever you go, just being with a group of women who have got a shared passion for travel. And actually, we didn't all know each other. Some of us brought friends that none of us had known, so it wasn't all like we were six best friends or anything. And we all just got on so well. We all brought something different to the table. I also had another friend meet up with us in Marrakech because she couldn't do the whole trip, and so that was really lovely, very special.
Oh, nice.
There was a beautiful rooftop bar that I would highly recommend to go to in Marrakech called Fenn, Elfenn, which is Richard Branson's sister's riad.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
so you can stay there, but it's a bit pricey to stay there. So if you don't want to stay there, you can just go there for dinner or for rooftop drinks, and it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. The riad we stayed was much more neutral tones, that real thing that in Morocco you think colour,
Yeah.
but some of the riads go into the beautiful just calico, those kind of things, which is beautiful.
So is there a dish you must try or a drink you must try?
Yes, well, I'm having a mental blank. I'm trying to think. Tagine, there we go. I've got it. The tagines. They cook the tagines in the clay pots.
Yeah.
The base with like a triangular lid. And to be honest, the first 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 tagines were amazing. After that, we just wanted something else. But in Morocco in general, it was really hard to find anything other than Moroccan food. So,
that's interesting.
yeah, it was like you couldn't just go down to an Italian restaurant. Well, in Marrakech, you could, but most of the other places, it's all Moroccan food, and which is fine. Like for 2 weeks, it's fine. But we were starting to get to the end because tagines are quite like sloppy. There's sort of lots of saucy stuff and like all the meats.
Spicy?
It can be a bit spicy, it can be a bit spicy, but not all of them were spicy. Yeah, we were a little bit cautious in sometimes if we didn't know the place, like if we just chose the place and it wasn't chosen by Yusuf or the guide, I wouldn't have had red meat because I was not sure what red meat it might have been.
Okay.
So they do eat all sorts of different red meats, which I won't go into because I might upset some people, but we just stuck to chicken and fish, like for some of it. But for the other places we went to that were like, that our guide knew and all of that, it was fine. Yeah. So, but one of us got sick, we think, from the water.
That was my next question for you.
Yeah. So one girl got quite sick and then her roommate got quite sick, so we weren't sure if it was like a gastro or a water but the other 4 of us didn't get sick at all. And and the other thing that's quite hard to get is alcohol because it's not so our lovely driver Yusuf used to know that we needed Australian water, as he called it. You need Australian and so we would go to Carrefour, which is a French supermarket. And there's only a couple, obviously. They're not like everywhere out in the desert or anything. So he was very good in saying, we're now going to be 4 days away from a Carrefour. Like, you'll need to stock up on your Australian water and any other like little snacky things, chocolates or anything else we sort of wanted, So he was good in sort of thinking ahead for that, which was good.
So can you drink alcohol in places? Is it?
Not like, yes, in like Marrakech and places like that, in like the the rooftop bars and and all of that, yes. But in the little things on the side of the road that we were stopping in, like quite often because there's quite big distances. Like we sometimes were in the car like 6-8 hours, like driving between places. So it's a bit like Australia like that. Like you've got to drive quite a way to get somewhere. But the scenery and everything on the way is just like beautiful. You'll see like little men on donkeys with their bales, and everything is like everything is just, it's not like boring driving. So it was good, but you could be in the car for quite some time. So you would often be stopping at little roadside places, and they would not have alcohol. So it would just be like if you're stopping somewhere just for lunch, they wouldn't really have alcohol. And when we went up into the desert, there was no alcohol there except we could take our own. So when we were sitting by our campfire, they were fine with us having our own wine. In fact, we actually met there was another group of people at our campsite, and they were not as organised as us, so they had So they ended up drinking most of our wine, which was kind of like we were very, very generous with our wine.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you have to be a little bit organized, is what I would say. Yeah.
So what would be the one thing you wish you knew before you went?
I think the type of clothing you take is really important because you're wanting to be respectful. So you don't really, it's one of those places I don't know that you'd be really wanting to wear really small clothing because you might get unwanted attention. We were all women of a certain age, so we were pretty covered up. But I think, like, just like what you see in the movies, if people are wearing I wish I'd taken more like long, sort of floating pants, just like t-shirts and things like that, more so than like tight exercise leggings or, so just more sort of flowy, sort of covered up kind of clothing. I mean, there are people there in shorts and singlets and things, but you will get quite a bit of unwanted attention from the Moroccan males, which, is kind of one of those things. If you don't want to be bothered with it, it's just sort of, it's easier just to, wear like a long sleeve light cotton top or something. And it depends on the season you go because it can be very hot there. So we luckily went in February and it was just beautiful, beautiful weather. February, March is a really lovely time to go.
Is that the best time to go?
I would say so. Like, we had beautiful weather, and actually the other time I went with my family was around the same time, just so we actually had beautiful weather. Like, I'm talking mid-20s. Yeah, just nice. Like, I don't really remember being very hot or very cold. Like, it was just lovely. Yeah.
And in terms of, okay, let me start again. So every trip has a surprise. What was something unexpected that you discovered?
I would say, I'm going to go back to the shopping here. Like, when you're going to like buy all your carpets and your lanterns and all that sort of thing, if you're into like homewares and things, which I am, we did find that you could send them home actually quite inexpensively.
Oh.
So what happened is one of my friends, particularly, and I sort of overshot, and we couldn't take it all on the plane. So we were quite nervous about that. And in the end, we went down to the DHL. And it actually, I'm like, who knows if this is all going to make it home. You're doing this little DHL office in the middle of Marrakech, which there's a million people coming and going. You think I'm actually going to lose my beautiful carpet that I've money on, like all of that. But everything just arrived home. And it was, from my memory, it was reasonably inexpensive, like a couple of $100 to send.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, quite a lot of stuff home, So, and I went all the way to Australia. Even though I was living in Singapore, I wanted it for home. So, I sent it home and it arrived. So that was, I suppose, a bit unexpected. And I think just how valuable the tour guide is, because historically, I've actually not really done tours. I'm the tour guide for our family. So I booked the trip to Japan. I booked the trip to America. I organised the hotels. I tell everyone, here's the train. We're going here. We're doing this palace. Where blah, 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 blah. So for me, I think it was quite unexpected how much I loved being on a tour. Like, just like arriving, someone just takes you somewhere. There was enough. I mean, it was getting up at 7, got to be in the car by 7:30 or 8. There was a little bit of that, which historically I've not really wanted that. But I feel like with this trip, it was really fantastic because it made you feel very safe. We got to see a lot. I think we saw things that we might not necessarily see. We went up into on the way up into the Sahara Desert, we went through a cedar forest. Where they then and pass the cedar forest on to like where they grow all the dates and the date plantations. And I think we sort of saw things that we might not necessarily see if we weren't on a guided tour, So for me, that has changed my feelings about guided tours. And I have since been on one to Vietnam as well with my family. The 4 of us went on one and we all absolutely loved it. And I didn't know if we would because you sometimes when you're traveling with other people, they might want to, not get up at this time or go to that thing. But as it turned out, if particularly my son didn't want to go on a tour or something, he didn't have to come. It was fine, so it actually worked out quite well. So I think that was a bit unexpected about how much I enjoyed the non-thinking on a holiday.
Oh, that's good to know. And I guess then you got to experience quite a few cultural things because you were on a tour.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. So the thing in Marrakech that I really loved were the gardens.
That's surprising.
Yes, there's some beautiful gardens. So one is called the Yves Saint Laurent Garden, which is where he had his holiday place, basically. And I'm just trying to remember what it was called. It was called something like the Jardin Majorel, Yves Saint Laurent Garden. And it's
Yeah.
beautiful colors, like bright blues and oranges. And I took a little photo. That's me at the garden.
Oh, yeah, it's very blue.
Very blue. And then
Yeah.
you see all the bougainvilleas against it and all that sort of thing, which was really lovely. And then there was another one called the Secret Garden. That was really gorgeous as well. So you go into these, like, you know, they're behind, like everything in Marrakech particularly, but also Fez and some other places. It's busy in the streets, you know, donkeys
Yeah.
and motorbikes. Everyone's walking, everyone's loud, and, you know, and then you go through the Riyadh door and it closes and it's like peace.
Sanctuary.
Yeah, it's like a
Yeah.
sanctuary, you know, and so that's kind of even with the gardens, it was a bit the same. You know, you sort of step off the very busy streets and you go into these gardens and they're just so calm and, yeah, peaceful. I mean, the Yves Saint Laurent garden is quite busy with tourists, but the Secret Garden was kind of a good little tip because that wasn't as busy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Because that's what I was going to ask. What's the one thing if you could give a tip to somebody, what would that tip or what advice would you give to someone traveling?
I would say, I mean, I'm not, you know, obviously I'm here to sort of say how much I love Morocco, but I would say to be a little bit careful. Like it's one of those countries that you go to, and I've traveled to lots of different countries. And I personally, if I was going there, probably would either go on a tour or, and this was like a private tour. So there's all different ways to do tours. You don't have to go on a bus with 30 people. You know, you can just do a private tour, and it was not cost prohibitive because it's not an expensive place to go. But I would say to have someone, a local who you trust and who will look after you if anything goes wrong because like in the markets, like in Marrakech, the first time we went with just my husband and my two children, we were in the markets and we had a couple of things happen to us in the markets that we weren't that comfortable with. So one was an old lady grabbed my daughter's hand and started putting henna on it and then was asking us for money, you know, the things you hear in some of these places. But at the time, we actually didn't have any money because we'd actually just arrived. We'd just arrived, gone to the Riyadh. We didn't have any like local currency. We were actually going out to go to an ATM to get it. So she got very angry with us and was chasing us down the street. And that's a little bit scary. You know? That wouldn't have happened, I don't think, if you were with a guide. You know?
Yeah, that's true.
That would have happened. The other thing that can happen is if, like, what happened to one of my girlfriends is, you know, you ask for directions. And then somebody, like to a local, and they'll literally just point you in the wrong direction. And you're not quite sure why. Like, it's kind of one of those things that, are they trying to follow you to maybe steal from you? Or, you know, there's a little bit of that. So, you know, not to sort of scare people off, but just to sort of say be cautious in the markets, particularly at night, like with your belongings, and to go in groups. And, and if you can have some sort of a guide, it doesn't cost a lot of money. So when I went with my family, after that first night of getting we were probably quite naive and we didn't really know what to expect. So when I went with my family, we arrived at the airport. We just got like a local taxi to our Riyadh, but we didn't really realize that the taxi couldn't take us to our Riyadh because of the way it's built. It's all like little laneways and things.
Yeah.
So he literally turfed us out in this square. And then some guy just came up and just started loading all of our luggage onto like a trolley. And then he just running down he didn't even ask us, you know what I mean?
Scary.
Yeah, and then he just started running down this, and we're like running after him with all our luggage because we were away for 3 months, so we had luggage. And then he took us, and it was absolutely no problem. He took us to the Riyadh, and we got inside the Riyadh. But I think that whole experience was just we didn't really know what to expect, and it was so different for us that we did then just choose to go on 2 different tours on the 2 days that we had, you know, and we just felt safer. But, you know, other people might be a bit more adventurous. And when with the girls were just in Marrakech, we had a tour guide. But we did go out for meals and things by ourselves, and other people went to the Secret Garden by ourselves, you know. So it's not like you can't do things like that by yourselves during the day, particularly. But I think just have your wits about you is how I would say it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's good advice. But I can't wait. I'm hopefully going next year and taking a whole group of girls on a tour. So I'm really glad we got to chat about it because I'm really excited about what we can do. So I will pick your brain off, what do you call it, recording, and we can talk about it then.
Yeah, sounds amazing.
So thank you, Joe. That was so fun to hear all about Morocco and what you loved about it. So
Absolutely. I would say like it's definitely somewhere I would go back to. For me, I mean, probably the best thing I loved about it was the people, that I got to meet were just amazing. We got to go to our tour guide's wife's place for dinner with her children and their children, which was beautiful. Everyone, all the staff and all the riads all treated us beautifully. The riads themselves, we haven't really talked about, but if you're going, try and stay in traditional riads rather than like big hotels because they are just beautiful. Like they have beautiful like ambiance and I love things like art and home interiors and things like that. So for me, that was part of the experience, staying in these amazing places where there are rooms that you just kind of go, I can't believe I'm staying there. Like this was just sort of one of the rooms. I got a photo up.
Oh, wow. It's beautiful.
They're just beautiful with all beautiful rugs and stoneware, and they all have swimming pools on, up and on the roof, and or rooftop places that you can go and hear, like the mosque, with all the mosques when they're all doing their call to prayer, and it's just a very, very exotic kind of intoxicating kind of environment. So I think I haven't really heard anyone go there that hasn't enjoyed it. So I think you'll love it.
I can't wait. So I'll put all of your notes in the show notes for those that, all the links in the show notes for those who want to know more about Morocco.
Sure.
And so don't forget to follow along on all the social media platforms. Give us a little bit of a rating, like a like and a 5-star, so that we can get these podcasts up and running. But again, thank you, Joe. It's been fun catching up.
Yeah, it's been really good fun. Thank you for inviting me.
So join us again next week on Truly Expat Travel Podcast, where I have another exciting destination in a world that's too big to be left unexplored. Ciao for now.